Hey, it's Monday. It's the Wayfarers Guide. I'm your host, Mr. Solutions. This is my partner in hosting, Dragon Scale, and we are back after like a 3-week hiatus of not
It
being
has
here.
been a minute. That is correct.
Yo, Law Evolution's in the house. What is up? Always good to see you here, broski. Yeah, nah. Hey, I miss you, bro. Like it's been like a
I
long
missed
minute.
you too. It has been a minute. We've been weeks on this, Joe.
I know. You know what? Honestly, everyone, it's my fault, right? So we changed the time.
Well, we've both had some stuff going on, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
you know, I was on vacation 1 week, and then the 2 weeks after that, I just straight up forgot we changed the time to 8 o'clock my time, and I keep waking up on Monday like, yeah, we do the show at noon, and that's not when we do the show anymore.
It's
No,
not new.
no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. So I've been messing up the show because I've been thinking that we start at 12, and we don't. Not anymore.
And that's okay.
And
We have changed the time, and everything has changed. The last few weeks have been kind of crazy, so it's fine.
you know what's kind of crazy right now? That light bleed coming from my curtain. You see that?
Yeah. You got the God rays coming
I'm
in.
gonna have to do something about that. Hold on.
I'm just trying to get all my shit together. That's all I'm trying to do.
All right, that's better.
Tox.
That's better. So it's the world and life skill building show, the Wayfarers Guide. I know it's just crazy today.
That's funny.
I know what it is. But no, that's what we do here. We teach you how to build fantasy worlds and how to use that fantasy world building and convert it into real life skills. So what we've been covering though is my game.
We have been going over some virtual verses. That is correct. Mechanics and structure and all of the stuff.
That's right. I
am
wrote a
trying
game.
to pull up my damn.
Wrote a game with a good friend of mine named Jake Bond, and we wrote a tabletop game. It's called Virtual Versus.
Who is an amazing DM, by the way.
He is an amazing DM, by the way. We've been going over the game and its rules and its structure. We've been on the body chapter, so we've gotten past the initial rule sets, gotten past the first 3 chapters of the game book, and we're moved on to the body chapter. I think we're in Fortitude on that. Does that sound right?
I believe so. It has been a minute, so I'm not entirely certain.
In law, I am angelic and I do need a halo, but that was just too much halo. I got just the right amount of halo right now. Just got the right amount of godlight coming down on my dome, on my shiny dome. Oh, you got time to find that. We're not even gonna go over the chapter to like the second half. So don't
well, just you're right. No. I get that. I'm trying to find out where the hell the damn documents are. It's like wait, why?
I shared them with you, so go to your Google Drive and go to share with me.
Yeah, I'm at Docs right now, but I had to find out which account it was on.
I also have this problem on multiple Google accounts.
I got it.
I have many Google accounts.
Let's see. We are on
Body chapter. I'm pretty sure we got done with athletics.
I'm pretty sure that we also went past that, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even see it here. I see lots of other stuff, but I don't see it here.
Yeah, let me see who I'm sharing it with.
Recent.
Tell you what account
Oh, I found some stuff. We're in
it
body
is.
chapter.
Yeah, mbaity228 yahoo.com is what it's shared with.
Yep.
Okay.
Body chapter. We're on body chapter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're on the body chapter. I'm pretty sure we're on Fortitude.
So we did anatomy, athletics, now we're on fortitude.
Yes, I believe we did all of anatomy, athletics.
All right. Well, how have you been? What have you been up to? What's been going on in your life?
Um,
What's happening?
man, everything and nothing is happening. I guess is the best way to
Yeah.
put that. Like, I'm trying to knock down a whole bunch of different tasks, and most of them are at some type of standstill. Um, but that's the way of things, though. At the same time, so I ain't
It
stressed
does
about it.
seem to be that way.
Yeah, I just wish things
It
would
does seem to be that way.
push forward to wherever they need to get to next. You know what I'm saying? How have
Right.
you been?
The last few weeks have been crazy around here. I spent a couple days in jail for some other bullshit, and then I got sick, and then the kids were sick, and this last week at school was crazy. Like they were getting sent home almost every other day.
Yeah. I feel like the world kind of rushed back to normality.
Yeah, way nuts. Well, the thing is that like here in Florida, they took away the virtual schooling that we were doing last year. That is no longer an option for us. So for you to do that to school at home, there is a program that you can get into that you can do that, but it is not as robust as the schooling was last year here, where they had teachers on camera and stuff. Now it's a different kind of program with an online focus, and it's not the same. And I am not capable of really fulfilling the things for my kids that they need from the school on that program. So my options are to either go full homeschool and just take them out of public schooling, or to put them back in public school, brick and mortar right up front. And when they first sent kids back to school this year, they were fighting with DeSantis over the ability to even mandate masks. And so they went to school with no mask mandate the first couple weeks. And DeSantis said that if schools chose to mandate masks, that he would pull funding for the schools, which is way outside of his power arrangement as the governor of the state. And Biden's administration had said straight up that if they did that, that they would fill the gaps on the funding and take care of DeSantis from the federal level. So lots of court things have happened on that, and lots of school boards have taken the ruling to court and been able to mandate. Some have gone completely against mandates, and the numbers and things that are showing up in counties that have gone against mandates are a little crazy. Um, and even here, where there are mandates and they have decided to go with that, the numbers of faculty and students being infected is crazy. I don't feel safe sending my kids to school, but I don't have a choice because in Florida, if you don't send your kids to school, they prosecute you on truancy. So, you know,
All right. So, do you guys have the K-12 virtual school option out there?
that we do, but like I said, I personally am not capable of fulfilling all the requirements on the program, and I don't think that it's a good suit for my kids. Last year in the homeschool program, they did manage to pass, but I am not a great teacher.
I got you.
And it's like I'm not dumb, but I'm not a great teacher, especially things I haven't touched in 20 or 30 years. Especially
So,
in math. Math is bad for me.
yeah, math is bad for me too. But I sent Steven to K-12 virtual schools for a year and a half. It was not nearly as hands-on for the parent as they make it out to be. To be honest with you, I thought the classes were really good. Uh, like they had digital art classes, like science labs. Like I really was impressed with the K-12 virtual schools. Um, and I'm just throwing that out there as an option. Like it really,
Yeah, no,
they said
and
it was, they said it was a lot of hands-on parent interaction or whatever. And of course I did,
I'm not afraid of some hands-on parenting, but like the interaction for the school and stuff. I'll go to PTA meetings, I'll go to school meetings, I'll go to all kinds of stuff. I'll help the kids with homework, I'll help them with classwork if they needed to. And last year we did that. It's just like Denna was 5 last year and went to kindergarten virtually. There was no socialization really. There wasn't really and that's things that kids need to interact with other kids to learn how to act right. And if all
But
you're
that
ever around is
honestly,
the
that's the
people in
only
your
thing that public
household,
school teaches you though, is how to interact socially.
which is still a valuable lesson to learn, and my kids need to have that in their life to be well-adjusted people.
No, I agree with you 110%. It's just amazing how many children fail at becoming social creatures after going to school. Like completely fail the lesson of school, which is learn how to be a social person and get along with people. Matter of fact, that's one of the things that
Right.
got society all fucking screwed up right now, is that you're sending your kids to school to either be the bully or to get bullied.
I'm sending my kids to school to be the anti-bully.
You know what I mean? Not you personally. I'm talking
But
about
me
the
personally,
royal you.
man, yeah, my kids go to school to pick that shit out and pull it apart,
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the royal you. Like
right?
right. Us as
And
parents.
I get it, in general, like when we went to school, we were either the bully or the bullied. And I decided myself not to be a part of that duality and became the anti-bully. Like I would hang out with all the kids that got bullied, and my group was the outcasts. My group was the ones that were getting picked on in the hallways and getting picked on in classes and getting picked on in gym and getting picked on in the streets. And I was happy to become a target because I knew that I could take it and they maybe couldn't. So I've raised my kids to do the same thing.
Yeah, there is another middle ground where, you're just cool all the way around, right? You're cool, like you're a cool person and you get along with the cool kids. You're a cool person and you
Well,
are
and I was an
decent and
athlete
get
and a
along with
mascot and
everybody,
involved in lots of things. So I
Yeah.
did have that aspect of high school also, where I was involved in all the groups and I started a step club and the drama department and all kinds of stuff. I was a peer mediator and an office aide. I worked with the resource officer and the guidance counselors to do all kinds of shit. So, it was yeah, and that's true, Lyle. I was a giant. I was 6 foot by my sophomore year, almost 200 pounds. Yeah, nobody like I got into maybe a fight a year, but if I told you to stop picking on somebody, you were about to.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm look, I ain't gonna be like I was campaigning for the people who got bullied or whatever. But I also wasn't bullying
And I
nobody.
don't and I don't endorse that action for anyone else because the mental fortitude that it takes to be the target of every bully all the time so that other people don't get it is another place altogether in your head.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna say I was campaigning or championing for people who are getting bullied. I can just say that I was not bullying people. And I was making sure I didn't get bullied. That's what I can tell
Yep. Yeah, and that's the target that most kids should take, especially in high school.
you. Yes.
Keep your head down, do you, try to get through it,
Yeah.
and try to enjoy the 4 years that you have with your friends while you can, because after that, they're all gonna scatter to the wind, and
I mean,
it's up to y'all to keep it
you know
intact.
what? I think everybody's kind of experience on that is different. Like, so I grew up in Hawaii, right? And like, um, I got to hang out with the nerds and hang out with the cool kids, and I did that shit like every day, right?
Mhm.
And we didn't scatter to the four winds, especially with the event of like social media. Like my whole graduating class is on a Facebook group. You know what I'm saying? We talk all the time. Um, I I've been catching that vibe from especially you Floridians that it really is like high school is over. Fuck all you guys. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because legitimately, at least here in Jacksonville, a third of my graduating class either died or went to jail.
Yeah, see, that's crazy.
Third.
That is not the case with my graduating class in Hawaii. Like, we still all talking. The ones that still live in Hawaii, they go hang out and drink at the bar and shit all the time, and they have all kind of events. Like, my high school didn't really scatter to the wind.
Man, I'm in a Facebook group now with a lot of people from my high school, but that was been in the last couple months when I've kind of gone back to Facebook and like looking at things and liking people's posts and sharing shit. Because I was off Facebook for a couple years, really. Like I wasn't really on there at all. I had a messenger and like I could go on there sometimes, but it just wasn't on my scope because I've been focused on Twitter and the channel and doing stuff for this. So maybe it's just me that floated off and didn't have contact,
Chris
but I
has
didn't
the
even get
same.
invited.
Chris has the same
I
feeling.
didn't even get invited to my reunion, and I was the only white kid in my class that graduated, and it was a black and white party, but I didn't get invited. I was like, all right, well, cool.
Chris feels the same way about his experience going to Floridian high school, right? He has the exact same kind of outlook as you have with that, right?
Well, and he also had a very similar school experience to me, being that we were minorities in the schools that we went to.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people like I get clapped on hard online places that people just don't know me or don't know what I've been through or where I grew up. And like I can literally say that I'm colorblind, but not blind to the plights of other people because I got to see them all growing up. So when I'm interacting with people, they have a perception of what they think I'm interacting with them on, and it's nowhere near where I'm at.
Right.
Because I didn't grow up to see that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't grow up to see that there's a difference in shit. We grew up in a minority capacity in a black school. We got to see how everybody was treated around us, and there wasn't a schism on it because it was mostly African American students. There were maybe 20 kids in my school that were white when I graduated. Before that, there were way less. They started busing kids in from the other side of town. Like then, we didn't even see fights.
Crazy, right? That y'all was still desegregated in like '96.
Yeah. And that was what it was about too. That was why they started busing kids in. They were desegregating high schools in Duval County
like,
in 96, 97, 98. And it's like, and
that's
it wasn't
amazing to me that in the late 90s, you guys are still desegregating.
Yeah, still. And it wasn't that, there was a schism. It was just that I lived in a neighborhood around our schools that was predominantly black. So we went to a black school because the neighborhoods around them were predominantly black.
Well, no, I
the
get
city
that,
of Jacksonville is segregated that way.
That wasn't, Chris got busted, right?
Yeah, he got busted in to get that segregation cap going.
Yeah.
He was part of the busing solution.
I think that's fucking insane. That in 1996, you guys were still desegregating.
Duval County is still that way. You go the neighborhood that I'm in right now is literally historically a plantation land. And you can see where the neighborhood here and the neighborhood just around the corner from me is a very direct split. When the Civil War happened and we set up the slaves as now citizens of America and they went to fight the war with us, the slave owners here in my neighborhood that owned the land here, they gave the land that my neighborhood's on to the slaves that worked their plantation. They gave them paychecks to continue to work the plantation. They gave them family lands so that they would be around to continue the economy of the neighborhood. And to this day, the split is right around the corner. There's one road that runs between the two neighborhoods, and you can tell where the split is. There's an old black church back here that they're rebuilding, and then right around the corner is trailer parks and white homes. That whole side of the neighborhood. And until maybe a year or two ago, they were still having racial divide in my neighborhood.
That's crazy. The South is crazy.
Yeah, Florida's a little nuts. And I'm not saying that, you run into and I'm not saying like you run into racism all over the place and there's not like just crazy KKK guys running around the corner or whatever, but there is a schism. There is this old held belief that there is a difference and that they just don't intermingle the neighborhood. Like they just don't do it.
So strange.
And we're right outside of downtown. This is a little pocket neighborhood off the main highway. Like there's no reason that this isn't part of the main city of Jacksonville. We are very much in the middle of a massive metropolis. But this neighborhood is all single floor block houses and wood clapboards, and most of them were built 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago.
That's insanity. Florida's crazy. The South is crazy. Yes.
And here we are.
But other than that, I mean, it's just good to be back with you on the show.
It's good for me to be back on the show. I like it. I thought I was going to play games today, and I was like, all right, well, that's fine. I won't.
No, I'm a huge fan of the show, and I'm glad to be back with you. I'm sorry, I just keep forgetting we changed the time.
It's perfectly fine. Like I said, my life has also been a little nuts the last few weeks, so it's worked out that we took a little time off and we did the thing. But we're here now.
We are here now. We are here right now, right here. Straight up filling time on this first part of the talk hour, until we get to the second part where we go over the game. So like right now, I don't know. We just catching up. Y'all just gonna have to deal with us catching up.
For sure.
So hopefully I'll be signing this rental lease for this building this week. That's gonna be exciting. Ready to start building the studio. Get that going.
I am ready for you to also start doing that. Like for real. I want you to do that so bad.
I want to do it so bad. So bad. You know what? I'm hungry right now. Like
what you playing for breakfast? I had multigrain Cheerios and they're amazing.
I got a half a smash burger that I'm finna eat.
Ooh. So speaking of multigrain Cheerios though, what's your favorite cereal?
Right now I can't stand cereal.
Can't stand cereal.
Yeah, right now at this point in my life,
cereal.
But what I'll be real though, I like they got these the berry Cheerios.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Freaking fire! They also got the fruit flavored Cheerios. You had those?
Man, Cheerio, I have not. That sounds amazing though. Cheerios they have got their game on lock.
Yeah, they got the fruit flavored Cheerios. Those are dope. The blueberry Cheerios are dope.
The blueberry ones are good. I still think the multigrains are my favorite Cheerios. Just because they're just so good. They're good for you. They're just good.
It's alright. Multigrain is alright. I'd rather have the berry Cheerios.
Not my favorite cereal though. My favorite cereal is definitely Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Now, okay, so my favorite cereal that I can't eat, because you all know I have dietary issues, but my favorite cereal, honestly, is just some motherfucking Oops All Berries.
Oops All Berries, dude.
Yo, I can smash Oops All Berries all day long.
I will find some and eat them for you because you can't have them.
Please do. But no, Oops All Berries is where it's at as far as cereal goes. You know what else I like? You know what other cereal I really, 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 really like with a whole bunch of sugar on it?
Which one?
Kix.
Dude, they're not even. What are you talking? Oh, you like to put sugar on them?
Yes.
What?
Yes, I love Kix, and I love to put like.
Why though?
Huh?
Why? They're so good just the way they are.
They are better with sugar. Okay, one, I eat all cereal with sugar.
Put sugar on them, so I can't even talk shit about it. But dead ass, like that's the craziest thing I've ever heard about cereal.
I eat all cereal with sugar, like Frosted Flakes.
I mean, I can see cornflakes. Yeah, I can see cornflakes. Not Frosted Flakes because they have no sugar.
That's not enough sugar. Only thing I don't put sugar on is like Captain Crunch and Crunch Berries and shit like that.
Because
that is actually hella sweet.
Even though actually after they're soggy, they still tear your mouth apart.
Yes,
which
they
makes
are horrible
me sad
for that.
Because Captain Crunch is great.
But no, I put sugar on pretty much all cereal. None of the pre-sweetened cereal is sweet enough for me. But I love cakes with like a mountain of sugar. Oh my god! Like you know how when you got sugar in the bowl and then you go at the bottom and the sugar's at the bottom and you grab it with the cereal and the milk. Oh my god! When the cakes are sitting in that, it's so good. So
I
good.
mean, I guess so. I kind of like that's kind of why I like the cinnamon toast crunch, because at the end you get this bowl full of cinnamony sugary milk, and it's like,
You know, I've never been a huge fan of cinnamon toast crunch. Not that I'm like, oh, it's gross. Because it's not. It's just not my. It's not the first cereal I'm gonna pick up when I go to the store. Matter of fact, it's
no,
gonna
I
be
get
far
that.
from it. I much rather make cinnamon toast for real.
Like actual cinnamon toast. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's recently been a meme thing. Actually, I know you are not a meme follower, but
No.
there's been a meme about cinnamon toast, cinnamon sugar toast,
Oh, I know.
where
I seen it.
only
It's like the ingredients,
G's.
right? And it was like,
Yeah,
if you know, you know.
G's
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I see
Yep,
that shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yep.
No,
If you know, you know.
if you know, you know. I've been making a gluten-free raisin bread cinnamon toast crunch lately.
Oh God,
It has been so
that sounds
bomb.
so good.
It is so bomb. And if I could go get like the regular Sun-Made raisin bread, I'd be
Yeah,
all
we get
over
the
that.
oh my God, dude. Halloween, my boy Head Gaming says for him it's Booberry and Frankenberry, and around Halloween they came out with those boxes again, and I definitely bought one of every fucking one of them.
Did you? I
I
was
sure
never a
did.
huge fan of those cereals. So Count
Booberry was
Chocula,
always really
Blueberry,
good. Yeah, Count Chocula,
Frankenberry.
Booberry, and Frankenberry. Yep, they were always a hit at my house when I was little. And when yeah, the only time you find them around here now is when Halloween came back, and I had not seen them in years. But last year, the year before they came out around Halloween, I definitely bought one of every one of those.
Okay, do you remember Crispy Critters?
Yeah.
I love Crispy Critters cereal. Like that's
Yeah,
another one
Crispy
I put
Critters came
entirely too
out
much sugar in.
Crispy Critters came out when I was younger, and they were out around the time that Cookie Crunch was out. Those both came out around the same,
Yep, yep.
like
Cookie Crunch is
Cocoa
still here
Puffs,
though.
Cookie Crunch. But yeah, right.
Crispy Critters, a good wholesome bunch. A low sugar cereal with lots of crunch. It's indubitably delicious for you.
Yes,
Yes.
the jangle.
Yes. The
Yeah, but
jangle.
sadly it is not around anymore. That is true. That is sad.
Yeah. Mikey likes it.
Mikey likes everything.
Mikey likes it. So speaking of things from back in the day, my friend just found out where to get Clearly Canadian here in Colorado.
Um, that's shit. That's been a long time. What is that?
That's the sparkling seltzer water that comes in fruit flavors in the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the Canadian Perrier.
No, it's actual seltzer water. Like
So it's
here,
Perrier. What are you talking about?
but it's fruit flavored. Like hold on. And yeah, you're right. And I love Perrier, by the way.
I do not. Seltzer water and I do not mix. The carbonated fruit flavor bottles like from Walmart or whatever, those are okay.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna bring up
I like those all right.
I'm gonna bring up an image
Matter
of
of fact,
Clearly Canadian for the audience. So
Dollar
this is
General.
clearly
Yeah, it's the
Canadian.
Canadian Perrier.
No, it's except for it's fruit flavored.
Look, okay, it's a fruity Perrier. That makes it better.
Well, it does. One, I love Perrier. I could drink Perrier like every damn day. All
I
right,
can't do it.
like
Can't do it.
I could drink Perrier every day of my life.
There's
I love
something about the
Perrier.
flavor of the seltzer that's just like
That's the best part is the flavor of the seltzer. Like I love, I love club soda. I love seltzer water. I love tonic. Like I can drink those things with ice, and I'm straight. Like just straight up, just give me club soda, seltzer water. Like I like ginger ales. Like I like
Ginger ale, ginger. I'm down for ginger ale like crazy. My only problem now is that I can't drink regular sodas. I have to have diet sodas. There's something in a regular soda that will have me passed out.
That's
Like
weird.
if I drink one can of regular Mountain Dew in 30 minutes, I'm about to go into a sugar coma.
Yeah, I'm about to say
I
you're
think
just
I
literally
think
getting the sugar high and passing out.
right. The messed up part is like I can eat little Debbie cakes. I can eat 3 plates of spaghetti. I can eat all kinds of crap that normal diabetics should not be able to eat, but I cannot drink a soda.
No,
It's the high fructose corn syrup, I think, that really messes me up. My body does not use it well.
at least you know that you can't drink soda. You can just avoid. Pretty much me and my diet, right? Can't eat these things. I avoid them. You know what I'm saying?
Right, so I just avoid that thing and I drink a diet version. Everyone's like, "Oh, the aspartame, yeah, that's cool, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it's what choices you can drink
that's what I
water,
got. I can,
juice.
and I do. Crystal Light actually is my go-to. Um, it has no sugars and no aspartame. Well, some of them do, but like it's the closest thing I can get to a water substitute that isn't a soda that I actually enjoy. So
Crystal Light. So, my friend Puerto Rican Jay from around the way, right? He's all like, "Yo, I'm gonna make you this bomb ass drink with Crystal Light and Bacardi," and I'm all like,
oh, it's a
"What?"
hella mixer. It is a good
It
mixer.
is. So what they do is they make like a whole thing of Crystal Light, and then they mix a whole bottle of Bacardi together with that,
Mhm.
and it is so
Tell me they throw
bomb.
the fruit in.
Like it's so bomb.
Do they throw the fruit in?
No, it's just the
They
Crystal Light and
should.
Bacardi.
They should cut up. They should cut up pineapples and strawberries and oranges and throw it all in the cooler.
No, um, it's like it's
Then you got
something.
yourself
I don't
right.
know. It's something they make traditionally in Puerto Rico because Crystal Light's cheap, and in Puerto Rico the Bacardi's cheap because they make Bacardi there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's just something they
No
traditionally.
import fees and none of the
Yeah,
extra taxes.
they
And
put it in the fridge for like 2-3 hours and chill it real good, and then they serve it to you cold. Like that is like it's just straight up regular old lemon flavored Crystal Light and
yeah, it's
Bacardi.
lemonade, but it'll kick your ass.
It is so fire. Like it's one of the best drinks I've ever had in my life.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Agreed.
it's so good, especially in the summertime. Oh man,
You can go through that mess quick, especially if it's cold.
Oh
Throw on
yeah,
some ice.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
You just smack because by the time you take it out the fridge after like 2-3 hours, you can't even taste the Bacardi. Like
Yeah, no, not at all. Like
you just feel like you're drinking Crystal Light, and before you know it, you just fucked up. You know what else is good though in the summertime? Slurpee and like vodka, or Slurpee and gin, Slurpee and Bacardi. Like that's really
all
good
of
in the summertime. Like Slurpee and Tito's. Oh man,
Did you say Slurpee and Cheetos?
Tito's vodka.
I don't know what that is.
You've never had Tito's vodka?
I mean, apparently not.
Tito's is
Apparently, I'm missing out.
Tito's makes excellent vodka, man. Like Tito's is freaking fantastic. I would and it's not expensive either for how good it is. I would go get yourself a bottle of Tito's and try it out.
Bottle of Tito's vodka it is. Heard.
Yeah, no, it's look, I drink two things. I drink Tito's and I drink Bombay. That's pretty much it.
Bombay is actually my go-to. Or no, for I think my go-to liquor is gonna be either if I'm going straight shots, it's definitely gonna be some damn Jaeger. If I'm doing a mixed thing and I'm gonna be drinking a while, I want a Parrot Bay rum and some Sprite. That combo right there, I could drink all day.
Sounds super sweet.
It is super sweet, yeah.
You ever had?
But if you get the Sprite zeros with no sugars in them, it still tastes sweet. The coconut rum is kind of sweet, but
So back in
that's
the
the way to
day,
go.
I used to drink this drink. I used to drink Seagram 7 and Sprite, and they call it a gummy
Mhm.
bear. And when you
Yep.
oh no, Southern Comfort and Sprite, yeah, Southern Comfort and Sprite.
Yeah.
And when you smell it, it literally smells like a gummy bear. So like you smell it first, and then you drink it, and it tastes like a gummy bear. I used to get
Yep.
so drunk off of those shots.
And
Off
it's
of
the
those,
sugars.
yo, I used to get so drunk.
The sugar mix up, dude. That will get you, man.
Yes, yes. I used to be shitty off of gummy bears, like super shitty. Remember one time I was with my mistress in Germany. That's what we're gonna call her because that's what she was. Um, but we went to like this bar in Germany, like in her neighborhood, and we got so drunk one night, and then we was like literally falling, stumbling, walking to her apartment, throwing up everywhere. It was so bad. Like both of us were so drunk.
Oof. Oof. Yeah, I spent that my first year in college on that same tip.
Yeah, no.
I
Oh,
think
CP
I
is
think
mad because the heat is on, but it was fucking freezing in here last night.
it was a little chilly here last night for being in Florida. I think we dropped under 70, which is weird.
Yeah, no, it was
But we
super
had
cold last night.
overcast and some rain all day. We had rain all day yesterday,
Oh, that
which
sounds like
messes up everything here. Well, I
you
mean,
know.
no, it's normal to see rain every day, but you get it in like a shower in the afternoon.
Yeah,
Not all day long. Like all
no,
day it was overcast and rainy.
I love CP, but he complains about the weirdest shit. Like, if everyone else in the house is fucking cold, it doesn't matter if you're hot.
Yeah, take a cold shower, man.
Right, like if the heat is on, that's because everybody else in the house was fucking cold. I'm
But I guess
sorry
in that
that
case,
you
you
wake
take the
up in a
blazing
fucking
hot
hot
shower.
sweat and shit. That's not anyone else's fucking problem. Like everyone else is cold. We're not gonna fucking sit here and be cold because you're fucking hot or whatever. Like,
Yeah, go take a scalding hot shower. You'll be good.
look, it was so cold in the house last night that it woke me, Jelani, and fucking Cole up out of our sleep because we were freezing.
Oof. Yeah, that's rough.
Right, and he's texting me. I don't know who keeps turning on the heat. Look, motherfuckers got a cold. It's fucking freezing in here last night. Like shit. What do you want me to do?
Even if it is cold in the house, like I still cannot not run the AC at night. Like I can't not do it.
That's because you
'Cause then
increase way much more than the rest of us, right? Like
I mean,
I don't weigh
yeah.
shit. I weigh 120 pounds. The moment
Oh yeah,
there's
no,
a
I got
chill
100
in the
pounds on
air,
you.
I am cold and uncomfortable and miserable. I don't have no body fat, and I can literally feel the cold on my bones.
You're the cold out there is different though than it is here. Like the humidity difference changes both aspects of temperature, the cold and the hot.
Oh yeah, I know.
I will happily take the wet cold here over the wet hot here to get your cold heat or like your dry heat.
Yeah.
But dry cold is bullshit.
Yeah. It is super bullshit. And we were all in here fucking freezing last night. Everybody was in here
Yeah,
cold as hell.
Your dry cold goes right to your damn bones, and there's
Yeah.
nothing to it.
Yeah, and I'm under sheets and 2 blankets and shit. I'm still waking up freezing. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And
Trying to catch hypothermia at night.
pretty much, and I look, this constant fight that me and CP got going on with the heater, or that he's got going on with everybody else in the heater, because everybody else is like, fuck, turn the heat on. Right? He's the only person that's like, I'm
Right.
tired of waking up in a sweat. Look, fuck, I don't know. It's fucking freezing in here last night. Like, I don't know. Like every adult in the house that was awake was like, yo, it's so damn cold. I don't know. But have you seen Squid Games on Netflix?
I have not seen Squid Games on Netflix. Is that the one? What's that about?
All right, it's a Korean drama where they convince all these degenerate gamblers and people who owe a lot of money to gangsters or whatever to come join this game for like 45 billion won, right? And It's 6 days of games. They're all childhood games that you would play as children, but the consequence is death for failing.
I did see a promo for something sort of like that, but they were not given an option to come win money. They were taken, all their stuff was stripped off of them. They were put in a room with a bunch of beds, like a prison cell. And then these dudes came out with face masks and stuff, and they're like, "All right, so you're here. You're going to compete in these things, very Hunger Game style."
No, okay. So you
And
are talking about they was
surviving
in
is
pink suits, right? The dudes in the masks was in pink suits.
the pigs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're talking about the same thing. You just have the premise wrong. So they
Okay. Well, it seemed from the trailer bit
right, but when you watch the show,
right.
you realize that they all have an option. Actually, that's the big part of the show is that none of
Okay.
them were forced to participate in the game. As a matter of fact, they have so much liberty that they let them all leave the game the first night after the first events go on, and then they're like, "But we won't close the door to you. Whoever wants to come back can come back." Right? So like all leave, and then like 93% of the players come back to try to
I
win
mean,
money.
for that much money, I might come back myself. Shit.
In the situations they were in, it really
Yeah.
made
What
the
else you got
most
to
sense.
lose?
Right, exactly. That's exactly what it was, right? They knew they had him in situations where they're like, so what could you lose, right? Like,
It's literally full blown like economy. Is
yeah,
what's going on with that?
no, it was no. Squid Game is great. I would absolutely watch that. I need Outlook to stop making noises. Um, but Squid Game was.
I've been watching Manifest.
You know what? Manifest was too preachy for me.
What?
It's got too many Christian overtones. It's too fucking preachy for me.
Oh, all right.
It's like too preachy. Like I started watching Manifest. I got like 4 episodes in. And then they start.
I think I
angels
just
and shit.
ignore that part. Yeah, I think I just ignore that part.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore.
Not when I'm looking at the characters instead of the show, I guess. Like I'm looking at the character development and the interactions, not the overtone. Because like I guess I could sit down and watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy and find all the overtones there too, but I just don't. Like I know they're there, I just ignore it.
They are pretty blatant. They're hard to ignore. The show is pretty much Christian propaganda, and I stopped watching it. However, I am watching Why the Last Man right now, which is great. I'm also watching 9 Perfect
Oh, I
Strangers.
saw that.
9 Perfect Strangers.
Why
Why the Last Man is based off a graphic
Why
novel.
looked really good.
Why is really good. They did a really good job representing the graphic novel.
Which is always good and to be
Yes.
applauded because the number of times they screw comics up is
Books over.
horrible.
Yeah, no, they did a great job respecting the source material.
Are you talking about that on Comic Clash?
Yeah, I gave a little bit of preview on that on Comic Clash. I told people to read it and watch it.
Plug to the other show, go watch it.
Yeah, a lot of people are not familiar with the comic to begin with. So
Well, I mean, a lot of the graphic novels, especially the not mainstream graphic novels that come out, most people don't have a clue what's going on. Like,
yeah,
look at Alita. Alita had no following whatsoever. There was a core group of people that were on the comic bandwagon from the get-go. The studio saw this as an opportunity to make a really cool movie that a lot of people didn't know anything about, and they did. And then people were like, "Oh, I got to know about this. This is awesome!" And it just exploded the comic popularity.
Battle Angel Alita is old is the problem. So it's like 20, 25 years old, right? And then they want an option.
Still awesome.
It is still awesome. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not that people didn't know about it. It's the people who were around to know about Battle Angel Alita knew about it 25 years ago, right? We read it as manga,
right?
Watched the cartoon, like Battle Angel Alita was huge in the 90s, in the early 90s. Like it was one of the biggest animes going.
But a lot of those animes that were popular in the 90s, they continue to gain cult status and have a following. I mean, look at like Ninja Scroll and Akira and all the really good greats that you look at, the legend, all the Ghibli studio stuff. Like, they all have massive following. They haven't put out a new any of those things in forever, but everybody still knows about them. If you're into anime, you know about the Legends list, and it's just, but that was but games kind of do that too. Games have super popular games on all the genres and all the platforms and all the consoles, but then there's always this like secondary set of games that are amazing that nobody ever played.
Yeah, totally. But Battle Angel, Battle Angel was. I didn't watch the movie. Battle Angel Alita, the series was great.
The movie was good.
Was it good? I didn't watch it.
Yeah, you should. It was amazing.
I feel like our versions of amazing on this is going to be different.
I actually went in with research before I watched it because I did not read the manga or watch the old school TV show. I had no idea what it was, but the trailers all looked really cool. So I was like, man, I need to find out about this. So I did go back and look at, like, there's a lot of people that have put out YouTube videos and talked about the manga and the TV show and all the stuff. And even they were like, no, they did a really good job of depicting what was going on in the manga to the screen, and to have a good adaptation that the core fan base was happy about made me want to go watch it. So when I did, I was like, okay, this is a movie that the core group fan base that's behind this entire content is appreciative of and wants to do well. So I was like, yeah, let's go watch it. And I did, and I was not disappointed. It was a good movie.
All right, I'll check it out.
But it's either I go in like fully aware of what's going on, or I go in like not knowing anything,
Yeah.
Like, I think when we all went into the Matrix for the first time, how many of us really knew what was going on with that?
Nobody.
Nobody. So, and then since the first one came out, there's this massive following of content creators and juxtapositioners, if you will, of what it means and what it is and what it's doing. And there's this whole genre behind things like that. And I find that really fascinating, that people are so passionate about a fantasy story that they have created an entire culture behind it. But I guess Star Wars and Star Trek did that too. So
Yeah, pretty much.
but it makes it interesting to me to see the franchises that come out of these things, and how mainstream they get so fast, with the blow up of these giant movie functions.
Right. No, that's the way of it though. That's how media is supposed to expand on itself. So that's also fantastic. No,
And it's what we do.
Yeah, I will check out Battle Angel Alita. I'll check out the movie. I
It's
am
good. You should.
100% convinced I'm going to be disappointed in it, like I'm disappointed in every anime movie. Every live action anime movie is a large letdown and disappointment to me. I have never walked into a live action anime
Shit,
movie.
if it's out right now, like you can watch it online somewhere, you should do like a reacts video to it.
I probably should.
Because that would be good content for Comic Clash if you guys all sat down and did a reacts to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know what? We should do a react to next week's What If or this week's What If.
I have not watched any of the What Ifs.
Oh, you're tripping.
I have not. I have been watching the Cliffs Notes on YouTube.
You are tripping. Look.
So I know what's going on because Emergency Awesome is a great channel, but otherwise I have not watched a single one.
You are tripping. I'm assuming you don't pay for Disney Plus. That's why you haven't watched a single one.
I don't. Yeah. And not only that, I have not watched The Mandalorian. I have not watched any of WandaVision. I have not watched any of the products from Disney Plus. As much as I probably should, I haven't done any of those.
Give me a second. I'm still dealing with this Chris situation.
And I think the most anticipated thing that I'm seeing coming forward from those studios, for me at least, the one thing that I would go watch for sure is the Boba Fett spinoff. Like, I'm super excited about that. I might go find a way to stream that to myself without a subscription somewhere. Because I mean, come on.
Yeah,
If they do anything good like they did with the Mando for Boba Fett, I'm about it.
Okay, so all right, so a lot of people live in this house, right? I just got to go back to this shit. 5 people
Life skills, everybody. Here we are.
5
Life
people
skills.
in the house yesterday, right? 2:00 in the morning. It is effing freezing. 4 of us
What
are
temperature
awake.
range are we talking about?
It's like in the 30s, right? 4 of us.
Jesus Christ!
Right, it's fucking cold. 4 of us are awake, freezing our asses off. Clothes on, heaters, space heaters on.
Wait. Yeah, that's wait. Why are the heat not on at 30 degrees outside? Because
if we turn on the heat overnight, Chris Paul is gonna wake up bitching that he's fucking outsweated his sheets and shit, and he woke up in a pool of sweat, and it's not fair, and blah blah blah. But yo, you're the only person doing that.
But like, you can't
so
set
are the rest of us
to,
supposed to fucking suffer so that you cannot wake up in a pool of sweat?
But the thermostat doesn't set to like 65, 70 something, like 65.
Well, all right. One, we went to sleep with the air on because he wants the air on, right?
Okay. At 30 degrees outside, you crazy as hell. Open a window.
Well, that's it. It wasn't 30 degrees when we all start laying down, but by the middle of the night, it's fucking 30 degrees, right?
No, get you a ceiling fan.
Shit. Look, he's got a ceiling fan. He's got a fan. He's got all those things. He's still like, I wake up sweating out, and I get that, right? I'm not unsympathetic to the plight, but it's you, one person, versus everybody else's opinion. You don't actually get to win that. You don't even get to bitch about it.
I mean, you can bitch all you want, but that doesn't mean you're gonna win.
That's what I'm saying. When it's 4 people versus 1, you don't even get to bitch about it.
No, you can still bitch from the background.
Yeah, you can be like, from the way back. Like, nobody wants to hear that shit when everybody else is hearing the same fucking opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, when the group consensus is one thing and one guy's like, yeah, but we should do it like this.
No, go fuck yourself.
Right ahead and, yeah, you go ahead and figure that out. Well, we're gonna do this other thing
because we're not all gonna fucking be up here fucking freezing in the middle of the night because you don't want to wake up in a pool of sweat. That's not my fucking problem. What is my problem is it's 2:00 in the morning and it's 30 degrees outside and the fucking air is on. We're all fucking freezing.
Yeah, there's no way. My air shuts off after the temperature outside gets to like 60.
And I love CP. Don't get me wrong.
It just doesn't come on.
Like, the rest of us can't be uncomfortable, so you can wake up comfortable.
The breakup in your you can feel the palpable tension on it. It's like I just.
We have
trying to wrap your brain.
We have this tete every 4 months, right? Soon as the weather starts
because
changing,
you guys have 2 winter seasons,
right? Yeah. Soon as the weather starts changing, you know what I'm saying? We start having this argument, dude. I am sorry. It sucks. I get it for you. That it is bad.
I had this very similar argument with a guy that was living with us when we moved back from Colorado. Her sister's boyfriend, live-in, whatever you want to call him, he had a problem with the air conditioner and the heater. And when we moved back here, it was like February. So that's really like the cold part of our season here in Florida. January, February is like the coldest part of our winter. Mm-hmm. And he just kept turning the heater off. And Gabe was just born, and he was like a month old. Man, he can't be cold, bro. That's not how it works.
He's like, well, I'm hot.
No one and that was exactly. Well, you're hot. Yeah. Nobody cares. Not a single person in this house gets to determine that my son gets to freeze. And I got my other daughter in your room. I got my wife and her sister, and you are all staying here with me. And the only person in the house that can't do anything about it is the baby.
Right.
Everybody else could put on some clothes, could do whatever, but the baby can't be in all that shit to go to
Look,
bed. It's not
I
meant
was
to be safe.
upstairs sleeping with my space heater on, a hoodie, and sweatpants under two blankets and a sheet, and I was still cold.
Yeah, that's too cold.
That's
Well,
too cold.
he eventually decided that his way to fix it was just take the thermostat off the wall and lock it in his room. And I
I
told him
would
straight
beat
up,
his
I was like,
face in.
do that shit one more time. Do that shit one more time. Do that shit one more time. Let my wife have to yell at me one more time about the thermostat not being on the wall. Let me hear one more time from this woman that her kid is cold because you fucked up. I swear to God, I will beat the fucking brakes off your ass and leave you in the street.
And again, I am sympathetic to CP's plight with this waking up sweating.
Yeah, I was sympathetic to him having a problem with the heat on, but that was not changing the fact that my son was cold, we were cold, the heater needed to be on. I
Yeah,
didn't give a damn.
that's what I'm saying. The whole house is fucking cold. Like, it is freezing in the house. It's not my fault how much you weigh, how much you sweat. None of that is my fault.
Yeah, go see a doctor. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. I do not know. And that's what I just got from saying. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Every adult in the
We're
house
doing
was
this.
cold. Right. Like,
That
I don't know what to say.
sounds like a build up for a country song.
Man.
Every adult in the house was
House was
cold.
But yeah, I love Chris. I love him to death. You know what I'm saying? I'll do anything for him, but I'm not gonna freeze to death.
Well, yeah, because it's inconvenient to everybody else. It's not,
Yeah,
and it's an inconvenience. It's
If it
not
was
even
just me and him, right? Then I'd be like, all right, I can concede this, right? Maybe one of us is tripping. I'll be the
because
one
I'll
that's
get
tripping.
a fan or like I'll get a space heater. I'll put an extra blanket on. I'll wear sweats to bed. I'll put on
Look,
some thermals.
like I said, I did all of that last night, right? Still fucking freezing in here last night. I was in this hoodie sleeping last night, in some sweats sleeping last night.
I can't do it.
Under two blankets with the space heater on, and I could still feel the chill deep in my bones. That's because the house
I can't
was
do it.
cold.
Not interested.
It woke two of us up out of our sleep, and the other two was already walking around like, oh my God, it's so cold.
The last time that I got woke up out of my sleep because I was cold, I was in Michigan with my ex-wife. I got off of work late. I got to the house and the door was locked. And her sister and stuff we were staying with, they had kids and shit, so I was not allowed to ring the doorbell after a set time because the kids were in bed. And I tried knocking on the door. Cell phones weren't really a thing. Nobody was picking up the pages that I sent out earlier when I left work. Nobody was around to let me in, so I decided I was going to stay in the car, in the garage. This still was not cool. I woke up every hour or two and had to turn the car on and let it run. Yeah, just because my fucking feet were freezing.
Yeah.
Like I was going to get hypothermia if I didn't turn the heater on for a little while and just let it run. But then I'm running a car in a closed up garage in the middle of winter with all the fumes in there. Like I had to keep the windows rolled up and all that. And like I'm stuck in a box. I might die. It might happen.
That might.
Luckily, I didn't, and it wasn't that severe. But literally every couple hours, I had to wake up and turn the heater on just to get some feeling back in my feet, to turn it off and go back to sleep.
No, I went to sleep with the idea that it was going to be cold in the middle of the night. I prepared for that, and it was still too damn cold.
And yeah, you get to a point where you're just like, nah, man, I'm good, dude. Like I need a heater, and I pay bills around here. So heater's good.
Yeah, pretty much. Like. The real thing is we keep running to this situation where I'm like, CP, everybody else is having this reaction. We're not gonna not do what is the normal thing because of some uncomfortability you might have in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at that point, take a shower, wash your sheets.
So I don't know who keeps turning on the heater. Motherfucker, I turn on the heater. What?
It's fucking cold. It's 30 degrees outside.
Are you gonna fucking whoop me because I turn on the heater? I don't think so. Shit.
Yeah, I would not whoop Brett's ass because he turned off the heater, but I will whoop his ass for not giving the fucking thermostat on the wall and letting adults be adults. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
no,
what.
that's a problem. Someone stealing the
Well,
thermostat? No, that's ridiculous.
that was bullshit, dude. I was like, dude, that is the most childish shit I've ever seen in my life. Let me beat that out of you.
But we're on the first hour of the Wayfarers. We just came over. We're just coming to the first hour. We're gonna take our 10-minute break, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna do this body chapter. We're gonna
Virtual
get into Fortitude.
versus.
Yeah, we're gonna get into Fortitude. So we'll be back. You guys enjoy yourself. We'll be back in like 10 minutes.
Whoop.
Whoop. All right, we're back from a break. We're back. It was a good break. I did break things.
You did break things?
I
Cool.
did. Had a cigarette. Went to the potty. Like I'm a 5-year-old.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Absolutely same.
Mm-hmm. Mommy, I have to go to the potty. Okay.
Needed a potty.
But we're on the second half of the Wayfarers guide. We're gonna actually do some game stuff now. Look at that. Look at that.
What? We have game stuff?
We
No
have
way.
game stuff. Let's see.
Fortitude.
Let's turn off Cam D. We don't really need that. I'm not drawing.
I think we're on different. I think we're on different pages.
You should be on the VTG body chapter document. Fortitude.
My layout's different.
That's weird. Shouldn't be.
Oh no, I just didn't go down far enough.
I'll say like the same document.
I was looking at the Fortitude overview. There we go.
All right. Fortitude disease. Disease building. Disease. Building this skill will allow players, one, this needs to have a VAT. Building this skill will allow players to both build up a resistance and grant them the ability to control diseases. Players, or virtuals it really should say, are able to use diseases in combat to inflict damage and damage over round. Oh yeah, because that dot damage is what's up. I guess it would be door damage if it's damage
Door
over
damage?
round, right? Because it's damage over round, not damage over time, right? So, but level 1 requirement. Oh, combat disease. Why don't I have? Oh, I did have one, but I added one there and then I put it closer. There we go. Combat disease, level 1. Requirement 1 point of fortitude. Disease costs 0 PP. Player description. Player has a natural resistance to disease, allowing a +1 to checks against diseases.
So that's like a natural resistance.
Yeah. Of course, it scales the same way all things scale in this game, right? So.
Right. As you gain points in the skill, the abilities go up.
Right, right. So as it goes up, it'll be like a +2 to checks, and however the chart goes.
Right.
So, fight disease level 1 requirement 1 point Fortitude disease. Cost 0 PP. Description: familiar with it should say familiarity with diseases. Gains you a +1 to checks. Cures players of disease.
So this would be like the cleric role.
Yeah. Well, I guess anyone could have it, right?
Right. But it'd
Yeah,
be like
but
the healer
yeah,
slot.
it definitely is like it's one of the many healing things that you can take in this game. Um Craft diseases, also level 1, requirement 1 point of Fortitude disease. Cost 0 PP. Description: the study of disease allows you better understanding of them, allowing you to now craft diseases 1 time per day. Deploy
Nice.
disease. Actually, that is kind of dope. Um,
So deploy would be like diseased weapons.
yeah. Okay. Deploy disease. Requirement 1 point Fortitude disease. Cost 0 PP. Description: familiarity with diseases. Your attacks do +1 damage and 1 round of +1 damage to opponents the following round. So you get a damage attack, and then you get a dot, a damage over time for casting it. So it's an instant attack and then a dot.
Nice.
Carry disease level 1 requires 1 point Fortitude disease. Cost 0 PP. Description: you are now a carrier of disease. All of your disease-based attacks do a +1 disease-based damage. Incubate level 1 requirement 1 point Fortitude disease and 2 knacks in Fortitude disease. Cost 2 PP. Your body has become an incubator for diseases, now making all of your disease-based attacks effects last +1 round.
So that's a dot.
Yeah, it is. It's a dot. Yes, it's a buff. Is
In and
what
of
it is.
itself, it's a buff on dots, yeah.
Yeah, it's a buff on dots. Disease. Level 1 requirement 1 point Fortitude disease and 2 knacks in Fortitude disease. Cost 2 PP. Description: you are now considered diseased, allowing you to use 2 Fortitude disease knacks in combination and with one or in one. Oh, sorry. Uh, Allowing you to use 2 Fortitude disease knacks in combination in one move for the added bonus of their effects.
Nice. So that's collaborating disease functions.
Yes.
Very cool.
Want to let you handle Fortitude Hide?
Yep. All right. Fortitude Hide. Hide. A tough exterior goes a long way, and players who have placed points in Hide will find it hard for physical attacks to pierce their flesh. Placing points in Hide will drastically increase a player's block. Fortitude Hide Resistant Hide. Level 1 requires 1 point of Fortitude Hide, costs 0 PP. Description: the activation of Tough Skin gives the player a +1 to block against all physical attacks for 1 hour. Force Resistant costs 1 point of Fortitude Hide, 0 PP. Activating Force Resistance will give a player +1 to block against force attacks for 1 hour. Sync Resistant costs 1 point of Fortitude Hide, 0 PP. Activating Sync Resistance will give a player +1 to block against sync attacks for 1 hour.
Those are going to be
Flow
psychic level attacks, sync attacks, by the way.
Right. Flow Resistance, 1 point of Fortitude Hide, 0 PP. Activating Flow Resistance will give a player +1 to block against flow attacks for 1 hour. What is a flow attack?
I'm sure that's an energy-based attack.
Okay. Empathy Resistance is 1 point of Fortitude Hide, 0 PP. Activating Empathy Resistance will give a player +1 to block against empathy attacks for 1 hour. Nice. So that's also mental sort of things.
Yes.
But on a different scope than psychic. Environmental Resistance, level 1, costs 1 point of Fortitude Hide, 0 PP. Virtuals who activate Environmental Resistance will be able to grant a +1 block against all environmental effects, including extreme heat, cold, winds, and precipitation for 1 hour. That makes sense. That's like natural elemental resistance.
Fortitude Poison.
Nope.
Whoops.
Nope. Undo.
Mm-hmm.
Undo that.
Okay. Poison. Placing points in poison will allow a player to build up a strong immunity. Oh, there's some shit missing.
My
There we
pages
go.
went nuts. Okay, there we go. Yeah, my pages went nuts for a second.
No, it's because I start Control Z and shit. Okay. Placing point. Actually, here, let me just fix all this shit real quick. Okay. Poison. Placing points in poison will allow a player to build up a strong immunity and produce poisons. Players poised and poison are able to spread their wares to objects and other avenues, causing damage to opponents and damage over round. I don't know why I said wares. That's strange. Resistance to poison, level 1. Requirement, 1 point in Fortitude Poison. Cost 0 PP. Description, the player has natural resistance to poison, granted a +1 checks against poison effects. Extract Poison, level 1. Requirement, 1 point in Fortitude Poison. In the knack, resistance to poison, cost 0 PP. Description, the player is able to extract poisons from players who have been poisoned. Player is granted a +1 on checks to remove poison. See, another healing mechanic. Manufacture Poison, level 1. Requirement, 1 point Fortitude Poison is knack, resistance to poison, cost 0 PP. Description, player can manufacture poisons ×1 per day. Poison Tipped. Requirement, 1 point Fortitude Poison and knack, poison resistance to poison, cost 0 PP. Adept with the use of poison, comma, the player is able to coat their weapon or weapons with poison, causing +1 poison damage and +1 poison damage to the opponent the following round. So that's got a dot on that. Identify Poison, level 1 requirement, 1 point of Fortitude Poison and knack resistance to poison, cost 0 PP. The ability to identify poisons allows a +1 check to remove poison effects from the player. Poison Splash, level 1, 1 point Fortitude Poison and knack resistance to poison, 0 PP. Description, with Poison Splash, a virtual can use prepared poisons designed to be absorbed through the skin, causing a -1 to adversaries' vitality, and doing another -1 to vitality +1 rounds. So that's also a dot. Deadly Dose. I feel real smart for making that. Level 1 requirement, 1 points, Fortitude Poison, and knack Poison Tipped. Cost 0 PP. Prepared for battle, the player enters the fray with a deadly dose of poison prepared for their weapon. I don't know why that says his. I like to write in non-gender. Granted a +1 to all poison attacks. Secrete Poison, level 1, requirement 1 point Fortitude Poison and 2 attack-based poison knacks. Secreting poisons makes you proficient with its use, allowing you a +1 attack based poison knack in 1 round without affecting your actions per round. So it gives you a extra poison attack without affecting your actions, which is kind of
So just again, yeah, adding in the buff bits.
Yeah.
Fortitude Regeneration. Regeneration. Placing points in regeneration virtuals will be able to heal themselves and other virtuals, as well as survive body-changing effects that many virtuals go through as they develop their fantastic powers. Stopping to place points in regeneration may save your life. Heal Wound, level 1, requirement 1 point Fortitude Regeneration, cost 0 PP. Virtuals possessing the knack Heal Wounds are granted +1 to vitality per round for 1 hour. Sustained Change, level 1, required 1 point of Fortitude Regeneration, cost 0 PP. Many virtuals undergo physical changes that may cause their body to go through painful and scarring physical changes. Virtuals possessing Sustain Change will be granted 1 hour protection from damage against knacks that are harmful to a person's body. Example of these knacks would be Grow, Bone, Bone Armor, Fire Organ, and Ice Organ. So you'd just be protected from the downside of these knacks for an hour,
Yes.
and acts again with other the way the other charts do. Repair Injury costs 1 point of Fortitude Regeneration. Virtual with Repair Injury can complete a repair wound and regain +1 Vitality. Reattach Body Part level 1 requires 1 point of Fortitude Regeneration. Reattach Body Part will allow Virtual to reattach a body part that they have recovered over the course of 23 hours at level 1. Regrow Body Part costs 1 point of Fortitude Regeneration, 0 PP. Regrow Body Part lets the Virtual regrow a body part after it has been removed from their body over the course of 23 hours at level 1. Replicate Cells. 1 point of Fortitude Regeneration costs 0 PP. Virtuals who possess the knack Replicate Cells are able to create 1 duplicate of themselves for 1 round. As this knack levels, users of this knack may substitute the number of duplicates for rounds or vice versa. For example, Duplicate level 2 would allow for the creation of 2 duplicates for 2 rounds or 1 duplicate for 4 rounds, the single duplicate using the same amount of energy it would take to have 2 duplicates for 2 rounds. Duplicates have all powers and abilities of original at half stats. Also, virtuals who duplicate share their vitality pool. Damage sustained by duplicate is subtracted from the virtual's own vitality pool. So this is kind of like the shadow step thing.
Mm-hmm. Fortitude Infection. Infection. Focusing on this skill tree will give the player control over and help them create antibodies designed to fight infections and allow them to incubate their own infections. Players are able to spread infection to cause status effects and damage as well as damage over round. So this Fortitude Infection is going to be a lot like disease.
Right.
But fight infection, level 1 point Fortitude Infection, 0 PP. Player has natural resistance to infection, granted +1 to all checks against infection-based attacks. Block infection, level 1, requirement 1 point of Fortitude Infection, cost 0 PP. Description: familiarity with infection, you gain +1 to checks to block infection in another player or yourself. Develop virus, 1 point Fortitude Infection, 0 PP. Studying the development of viruses you can now develop a virus. Develop viruses 1 time per day. Infectious, level 1, requirement 1 point Fortitude Infection. You are infectious. All of your infectious-based attacks do +1 infection-based damage. Spread infection, level 1, requirement 1 point Fortitude Infection. Cost 0 PP. You can spread your infection, and because of this, your attacks do -1 to all adversaries for 1 round. So that's a area of effect spell. It's one of the first ones we're actually seeing. Is spread infection. Airborne.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of that yet.
Yeah, Airborne Infection is the same thing. It's going to be an area of effect spell. But Airborne Infection level 1, requirement 1 point of Fortitude Infection and Knack Fight. In the Knack Fight Infection. Cost 0 PP. Airborne Infections allows virtuals to release airborne infections target at adversaries doing -1 vitality and another -1 vitality over the round. It looks like it's single target. Biobreeding. Level 1, requirement 1 point Fortitude Resistance and Knack Fight Infection. Cost 0 PP. Description: breeding infections. All infection-based attacks last +1 rounds. That's a buff.
Dot stacks.
Yeah, that's a buff, really. Sickening. Level 1 requirement, 1 point Fortitude Resistance, and the Knack Fight Infection, and 2 infection knacks. So you got to have a whole bunch of requirements for sickening. Description: cost 0 PP at level 1. Description: you are now sickening, allowing you to use any 2 natural resistance or built-up resistance knacks in any combination for their sum totals or effect.
Nice.
Yes. So you can, that's attack based or, buff, dodge stuff, like all that.
Or healing stuff, or however you want to use the skill. Yeah. I like it. Fortitude Toxin. Taking points in Toxic will allow the player to ignore toxins and their effects on human body as well as breed deadly strains of them. The player is able to use their toxins to cause damage and damage over round. Resist Toxin at level 1 requires 1 point of Fortitude Toxin, cause 0 PP. Player has a natural resistance to toxins, granting a +1 check against toxin attacks. Treat Toxin at level 1 requires 1 point of Fortitude Toxin and enact Resist Toxin. 0 PP. Familiar with toxins, you get a +1 to checks to treat toxins in yourself or other players. Create Toxins at level 1 costs 1 point of Fortitude Toxin and the Knack Resist Toxin. You can create a toxin times 1 per day. Toxicity costs 1 point of Fortitude Toxin and Knack Resist Toxin, costs 0 PP. You are full of toxicity, and now all of your toxin attacks do +1 toxin-based damage. I think a lot of internet trolls have taken this tree.
I think I was just thinking the same thing when you was reading that. I'm like, man.
Toxic level 1 requires 1 point of Fortitude Toxin and Knack Resist Toxin and Toxicity. Cause 0 PP. You are toxic, and because of this, your attacks do +1 damage and an additional +1 toxin damage the next round. So those are dots.
Yeah.
High toxicity level at level 1 costs 1 point Fortitude Toxin and Knack Resist Toxin, cause 0 PP. Having high toxin levels, all toxin-based attacks last +1 round. So there's another toxin dot buff. Festering level 1 requires 1 point of Fortitude Toxin and 1 built-up resistance knack. Costs 0 PP. Now that you are festering, you can perform 1 extra toxic knack per round. So basically what this looks like is say you went the design and use toxins, right? If you took resist. If you took have we talked about inner synergies? Like,
No, we
are there
haven't.
synergies from skill to skills?
They're designed largely to be synergetic. So like all the things under Fortitude Toxic, if you take them all, they're gonna all work in synergy. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Well, that's what I was looking at. Like, if I look at Fortitude Poison, right?
mhm.
And I go Poison Splash, right? Poison Splash Virtual can use prepared poisons designed to be absorbed through the skin, causing -1 adversaries vitality, doing another -1 to vitality in +1 rounds. Right? And then I take Poison Tipped on top of that,
Mhm.
right? And I have all the stuff that gets me to Deadly Dose. Prepared for a battle, the player enters a fray with deadly dose of poison prepared for their weapons, granting a +1 to all poison attacks. But I also have all of these infection things, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I have biobreeding, and I can breed infections on all my stuff, and I have an infection myself with the sickening thing. So I can use 2 natural resistance or built-up resistance knacks in any combination, right?
Yep.
So now if I have airborne infection and spread infection, I can use both of those to spread an airborne infection that I've created.
Mhm.
But does it synergize with any of these toxin things like the festering?
Mm,
Because I am disease ridden and I am creating infections in and of myself, and
right, but
I
an
want to be
infection is
festering
different than a
than the toxin.
toxin, right? And a venom is different than, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I split them up like that, because toxins, poisons, and viruses are just different.
I'm thinking as the defensive player in the scenario where I've built my character to resist being harmed by poisons and toxins and stuff. I'd have to branch into many different things to be a coverall.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you like wanted to be like, you know, straight up, I'm attack and healing on, you know, toxins, viruses, poisons, whatever, then you would have to take, knacks and all of those things to cover those things.
Okay. I'm just trying to look and see how it works out together.
No, a lot of other things will be synergetic, like what is that thing that we just went over? Like Fortitude. Uh, Give me a second. We just read this shit. Sustain change. So like sustain change is going to be a knack super that is super synergetic with a lot of knacks.
Right, because
Right.
it covers more than just one thing. It covers like all of these different things.
Yeah, exactly. So you're gonna run into a lot of those that are really synergetic that'll work across like they're gonna be like base shit that you want. Like you're gonna want sustain change in this game. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like you almost need to have it to have any of the cool stuff anyway.
Right. That's why I'm just looking at the way these work as we go through the mechanics.
Yeah, some of them are gonna be very synergetic, some of them not so much. Perception. Perception extrasensory. Extrasensory perception allows a player to tap into what others would call their sixth sense. Using their extrasensory sense, they are able to predict the intentions of humanoids, beasts, and even those of the outer planar. Granting players who place points in extrasensory perception increases granting players who place points in extrasensory perception increase the blocks and attacks. Perceive, intention, person, level 1, 1 point perceive, 1 point perception extrasensory, 0 PP. With the knack perceive, intention, person, a player is granted a +1 to attack and block versus humanoid opponent. Scales is 2, 3, 4, 5. Perceive,
Right.
intention, beast, largely the same thing. Description with the knack perceive, intention, beast, players are granted a +1 to attacks and blocks versus beast opponents. Future sight. Requirement 1 point perception extrasensory. With the knack's future sight, players granted a +1 to all attacks. Scales is 2, 3, 4, blah blah.
Oh, I
Past
like
sight.
that.
Yeah, these are all pretty synergetic, right?
Yeah, the perception ones seem to be just you are adding to your base attack and blocking.
Yeah, and it's super smart.
Yeah.
Past sight level 1 requirement 1 point perception extrasensory costs 0 PP. With the knack's past sight, players granted +1 to all blocks. Cosmic awareness 1 point perception extrasensory 0 points of PP. On description with the knack cosmic awareness, players granted +1 to all knowledge based checks for 1 hour. Right, that's dope. Relay lines requirement a level 1 requirement 1 point perception extrasensory costs 0 PP. Description with the knack relay lines, players granted +1 to all stats the following round. However, player must stay completely still for 1 round, incurring a -2 to all stats that round. So you get a bonus and a negative there.
I think that balance is probably good.
Yeah, I think so because you get a +1 the second round, right? But you get a -2 for after staying still on the round that you're
Well,
casting.
with sustained change.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly with sustained change, right? Depth awareness, level 1 requirement 1 point perception extrasensory cost 0 PP. With the knack depth awareness, you can perceive what happened in the hour before the target's life was extinguished.
Well,
So you
that's
can do some
cool.
detective work.
That's like there's a spell in 3rd edition for that.
Yeah, no, this
Like
is
see the undead eyes or something like that.
yeah, this is a good spell. Deja vu. Level 1 requirement 1 perception extrasensory cost 0 PP. Description with the knack deja vu, you feel as if you've been here before, giving you a +1 to blocks as well as a +1 knowledge checks. However, the feeling leaves you physically disorientated for 1 round, giving you a -1 to attack rolls. So it's good for defense, bad for attack, right? 2 steps ahead. Level 1 requirement 1 point perception extrasensory cost 0 PP. With the knack 2 steps ahead, you are to move +1 rounds into the future, avoiding attacks completely in the active round. However, the uncertainty of the future gives you a -1 to blocks and attacks. Take a step back. Level 1 requirement: 1 point perception, extrasensory, cost 0 PP. Description: with the knack, take a step back. You move all the actions and you move all the actions in one round in round one round. No, sorry. With the knack, take a step back. You move all the actions in the round, one round back, giving the player a +1 to all stats, giving everyone else on the field a -1 to all stats. That's a dope spell.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, that's almost like the one that lets you take your turn whenever you want.
Awaiting.
Yeah, waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot like awaiting. But that's a hefty penalty on everybody else for the second round though.
Yep.
Like -1 to all
Yeah,
stats. Yep.
-1 to all stats. Yeah, that's rough.
I might have
And
to
with
rethink
the
that.
sustain change,
Yeah, but if you have sustained change, that doesn't affect you at all.
it,
Like like you
yeah.
have to have sustained change. Like that is
Well, would it? So, what if someone else also has sustain change and has a persistence knack that says this goes through? Now you roll off against each other, and maybe it does affect you.
honestly, I don't know.
Because
I would think that we would just go with the higher sustained change wins, right? Like so if the number on sustained change is higher than your attack, because that's how it has to work, right? So like if my level of poisoning is higher than your sustained change, then I'm gonna have a successful roll against you.
right,
You see what I'm saying?
right, because you don't want that knack sustain change to be such a powerful thing that it blocks all the other builds.
Right. No, it stacks on numbers just like everything else. So you got to roll against it.
It's opposed, right?
Right.
Sweet. Well, perception hearing. Hearing. Spending points in the hearing skill will allow them to roll successful listen checks for humanoid, beast, or even the universe itself to better guide your actions. Players using hearing will gain bonus to listen checks and stats. Perfect hearing. Level 1 requires 1 point of perception hearing, cost 0 PP. Possessing perfect hearing, the player receives a +1 to all listen checks. Perfect hearing scales as perfect hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exceptional hearing. Level 1 requires 1 point perception hearing and knack perfect hearing. Um, Possessing exceptional hearing, the player receives a +1 to all listen checks over 10 spaces. Exceptional hearing scales as exceptional hearing 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hear Beast, level 1 point perception hearing and knack perfect hearing, cost 0 PP. Possessing Hear Beast, the player receives +1 to all listen checks for beasts, and it scales as per usual. Here, Humanoid is the same except for humans. It costs 1 point perception hearing and a knack perfect hearing. Possessing Hearing Humanoid, the player receives +1 to all listen checks for humanoid players. Vacuum Hearing, 1 point perception hearing and knack perfect hearing. Cost 0 PP. Possessing Vacuum Hearing, the player receives a +1 to all listen checks while in a vacuum. Vacuum Hearing scales as Vacuum Hearing 2, 3, 4, and 5. Universal Hearing, +1 point perception hearing and knack perfect hearing. Possessing universal hearing, the player receives a +1 to all listen checks against the universe. A successful check will give a player universal insight, allowing a +1 to all bonus stats for 1 round. How do you hear the universe? When would you need to roll against this?
It's it's the same thing as a knowledge check. Um,
Okay.
Basically, you are listening to all the information that could be given to you about a situation. Like it's just a basic knowledge check. Is really what it amounts to.
I see.
I
All
have
right.
I have a belief about the universe being an entity, and I wrote that here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spirit hearing, 1 point of perception hearing and knack perfect hearing, cost 0 PP. Possessing spirit hearing, the player receives +1 to listen checks for spirits. This also gives the player a
-1. No,
negative one,
no, it's got to be
plus +1.
plus. It's got to be plus.
Yeah, it's a +1. +1 to effects used on spirits, and it scales as well. Extra dimensional hearing is 1 point perception hearing and knack perfect hearing for 0 PP. Possessing extra dimensional hearing, the players receive a +1 to all listen checks for opponents on other dimensions. Extra dimensional hearing also scales.
Perception sight. Sight. Specializing in sight gives the player unparalleled vision, aiding in search checks as well as raising blocks and attack stats. Players will be
Cool.
able to roll checks to see in the dark and find opponents who are invisible. Perfect vision, level 1, requirement 1 point perception sight, cost 0 PP. Description: possessing perfect vision, the player receives a +1 to all search checks. Perfect vision scales as everything scales. Long view, level 1, requirement 1 point perception sight and knack perfect vision. Cost 0 PP. Description: possessing long view, the player receives a +1 to all search checks over one range space. Long view scales as long view. 180-degree field of vision, level 1, requirement 1 point perception, sight, and knack perfect vision. Cost 0 PP. Description: possessing a 180-degree field of view, players receive a +1 to all blocks from attacks in their field of view. 180-degree field of view scales accordingly. 360-degree field of view. Level 1, requirement 1 point perception, knack, and perfect vision. I'm going to say in the 180-degree field of 180-degree field of vision. That's the only thing that makes sense there.
Yep.
Because why would you take 180-degree field of vision when you can just take 360? Possessing 360-degree field of view, players receive a +1 to all blocks from attacks in their field of view, which is 360 degrees, all over the place. Spectral eyes.
So wait, did you say prevents all damage in this field?
No, I said a player receives a +1 to all blocks from attacks in the field. Spectral eyes. Requirement level 1, perception, sight, and knack perfect vision, 0 PP. Having spectral eyes, the player has a +1 check to search for players or opponents on different planes. Spectral eyes scales as so. Spectrum sight, level 1, requirement 1 point perception, sight, and a knack perfect vision, 0 PP. Having spectrum eyes, player has a +1 checks to search for players on opponents who are invisible. Spectrum eyes also scales. Night vision, level 1, requirement 1 point perception, sight, and a knack perfect vision, cost 0 PP. Description: having night vision allows players to see when there is a normal amount of nighttime light. Players have a +1 to search checks at night. Night vision scales as night vision 2, 3, and 4, 5, and blah blah blah. Pitch black vision, level 1, requirements 1 point perception, knack. 1 point perception, sight, knack perfect vision. I'm also going to say here that you need night vision.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Having pitch black vision allows players to see with no light. Player has a +1 to search checks when no light is available to see. Pitch black vision scales as pitch black vision thus. Future vision, 1 point perception, sight, and a knack perfect vision. Possessing future vision allows a player to see into the future, granting a +1 to all blocks and a +1 to all attacks. Force vision. I don't know what this is. We're about to find out. Requirement, level 1, requirement 1 point perception, sight, and knack perfect vision. Possessing force vision, player can identify opponents using force energies, granting a +1 to all blocks against opponents using force energies. Oh. Force vision scales is that. Flow vision. So force and flow are two different types of attacking mechanics in the game.
Right.
Level 1, requirement 1 point perception, sight, and knack perfect vision, cost 0 PP. Description: possessing flow vision, players can identify opponents using flow energies, granting a +1 block to all +1 to all blocks against opponents using flow energies. Flow vision scales the same way. Sync vision, level 1, requirement 1 point perception, sight, and knack perfect vision, cost 0 PP. Description: possessing sync vision, players can identify opponents using sync energies, grant a +1 to all blocks against opponents using sync energies. I don't know why that says force.
Because you were still thinking about force.
Yeah, sync vision scales as sync force vision, blah 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 blah. And like force shouldn't be in there either.
All right. Perception, smell. Smell. Virtuals who have place points in perception smell will be able to smell what ingredients are in a dish or track their targets over great distances following unique smell paths in the air. Perfect olfaction. Level 1. Required 1 point of perception smell. Cost 0 PP. Virtuals who have points in perfect olfaction have an exceptional sense of smell, granting a +1 to all checks to smell for 1 hour. Smell Humanoid requires 1 point in perception, smell, and knack perfect olfaction, cause 0 PP. Placing points in the knack smell person will grant a +1 to smell checks for humanoids that have been in the recent area for the last hour for 1 hour. Smell Beast is 1 point perception, smell, and knack perfect olfactory. Smell Beast will grant the virtual using a +1 to smell checks for the beasts that have been in the recent area for the last hour for 1 hour. Track Humanoid, level 1, costs 1 perception, smell, and a knack perfect olfaction and smell humanoid. Cost 0 PP. The knack track humanoid will allow the virtual using it to track a humanoid over 1 range space for 1 hour.
This is for everybody who wants to be Wolverine.
Right. Which useful. Track Beast is 1 point perception, smell, and knack perfect olfaction. Smell Beast. Cause 0 PP. The knack track Beast will allow the virtual using it to track track Beast. Over 1 range space for 1 hour. Smell components. Plus 1 point perception, smell, and knack perfect olfaction. Cause 0 PP. Smell components will allow the virtual to identify the components of objects they have smelled to determine their components for 1 hour. Interrupt pheromones. Oh, that's cool.
In it.
1 point perception, smell, and knack perfect olfaction. The knack interrupt pheromones allows the virtual to perceive pheromones as information, giving the virtual insight into the adversary's intentions, granting a +1 to block and attack actions for 1 hour.
That should be interpret, cool. Not interrupt. Interpret. That's not how you spell it either. There. That's what that should be. Yes, the knack interpret pheromones allows a virtual to perceive a pheromone as information, giving the virtual insight to an adversary's intentions, granting a +1 to blocking it. Yeah, there. Perception.
So that would be like the perfect defense against a Poison Ivy style character.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Perception, taste. And we have a few minutes to go, so we're gonna knock out taste, and then we'll be at the end of the show. Taste. Placing points in perception taste allows a virtual to use an exceptional palate to perform extraordinary feats such as break down the components of an item to identify its origins, or sense and track humanoids and beasts, or distance, I guess over distance, because they can taste their taste that still lingers around them. Yeah, in the air, like in the air around them. Okay.
Gordon Ramsay has mastered this entire knack tree.
Yeah. Exceptional taste.
Like
Level 1 requirement 1 point perception taste, cost 0 PP. Description. Exceptional taste grants the virtual using it +1 to taste checks for 1 hour. Taste components. Requirement 1 perception taste and a knack exceptional taste. Cost 0 PP. Description. Virtuals with taste components are granted a +1 to checks when they taste an object to discover its components for 1 hour. Taste sense humanoid. 1 perception point in taste and a knack exceptional taste. Description. Taste sense humanoid allows a virtual to use this knack to taste the air of an area and tell if a humanoid has been present within the last hour for 1 hour. Taste sense beast. Requirement level 1 requirement 1 point perception taste and knack exceptional taste. Cost 0 PP. Description. Taste sense beast allows the virtual to use this knack to taste the air in the area to tell if a beast has been present within an hour for the last hour. Same with the humanoid. Track with taste humanoid. Requirement 1 point perception taste and the knack exceptional taste and taste sense humanoid. Cost 0 PP. Track with taste humanoid. Track with taste humanoid will allow virtuals to use taste sense humanoids. What? That doesn't make any sense. Basically, you can track. I'll fix this later. But a virtual can track another human with taste for 1 hour. Track with taste beast, same thing. Is track taste humanoid. Ignore taste. That's interesting. Level 1 requirement 1 point perception taste and knack exceptional taste, cause 0 pp. Description: having highly developed sense of taste, you've learned to also ignore tastes others would find offensive, allowing you to eat anything regardless of taste for 1 hour.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that can come in handy with things like poisons.
Yeah, that could come in mad handy.
It actually can. All right, so we're at 10:41. Let's go back to the this screen. Yeah. So we're on perception touch next week. That's where we're at.
Which I'm actually really interested in. I was looking at that while I was going through and fixing the formatting. Some of that looks really interesting.
I feel like I wrote some really interesting stuff for this chapter.
Dude, borrower's touch? What? That's rogue right there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I made it when I'm sure I made that thinking rogue. So I did try to
and you pump sustain change. Like, dude.
Oh yeah.
What knack set do you want this next 10 rounds? Let's go.
Yeah, pretty much. Just so you know, we're talking about borrower's touch, 1 point perception touch, and the knack exceptional touch, cost 0 pp. Description says the knack borrower's touch allows the virtual possessing the knack to be able to assimilate 1 knack from allies or adversaries for 1 round. That's dope.
And like I said, with the sustain change thing, you get to add those rounds in. That's the way to go, man. Good lord.
Yeah, man. Boy.
Dude, every time all of this stuff that we're looking at, sustain change definitely comes into play.
Oh, sustain change is like you have to have that if you want to do anything cool with your virtual body.
For any length of time, anyway. Like I could see not having it if you didn't care and you were doing other knacks to give you round dots, but man, if you add that with the round dots, like, come on, dude, that's gross.
No, look, you can build some vicious characters in this game. Like it's
the more we go through the mechanics, the more ideas I have for stuff. I'm like, yeah, these are cool.
It's designed to take time. You know what I'm saying? So like it's so the game is designed so that the DM gets to tell their story, right? Like their whole freaking story they want to tell. It's designed that the game is supposed to be run long and for you to get to these higher places over a long play, right? Like,
right.
You know, so it's all of this is designed to encourage players to and DMs to tell fuller stories and play longer games than we see in like Dungeons and Dragons or Rifts or even Mercs, right?
Yep.
A lot of I find those games.
Champions had that kind of hold up, let's go slow and build your character up.
Yeah, that's what this is, and like you said, this is a lot like Champions in its design, right?
Well, I mean, it's a superhero genre, so go figure.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that, right? We made it so you can whatever. Okay, so when I was writing it, I was like, let me think about all the superpowers that I ever encountered in a comic book or television or whatever, and I was like, how do I relay those as little individual pieces of content? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I let you be all the Fantastic Four at the same time? How do I let you be the Super Skrull?
I was say you need to be a Super Skrull, I guess.
Yeah, you know. But you know, you can be all the you can be the Super Skrull with this, you know, with this layout. You know what I'm saying?
All the borrower's touch alone lets you handle a lot of that, and then you tack in all the extra buffs for everything. That would work out really well.
Yeah, no.
I'm excited. I'm still excited to get through all of these and actually start building some characters and doing some stuff.
Me too. I'm super excited to play some games on this system.
Because I don't see this necessarily working. I mean, I cannot see it not working in like a medieval fantasy setting. This is more of like a more modern. I don't know. I see this as more of a modern superhero setting than I do like a true D&D fantasy set.
Yeah, it's definitely okay. So
but
you
I
can
mean,
use it. You can use it anywhere, right? Like you can use it any time period in any circumstance. But it's less swords and sorcery than it is, how do we
Physical attributes.
right? How do we bring, all the cool things that you can do in games and comic books and stuff? How do we bring that to a set where, I can take my IP and I can write it into a story and I can represent, whatever character I've written in my IP, right? And that's largely what it's for, is for people who've written their own IPs and they want to,
Right.
put that into a game. The amount of knacks and skills and things and the type that there are should allow you to build whatever character you build in your world to, play that. Right?
And in different settings, I could see a lot of these may not be very well supported or used widely or whatever. Like I can't see the toxin poison thing always being the case, but I can see a specific kind of animal or a specific kind of character using it and taking it to the max, and then your virtuals are really fucked because they're dealing with shit that they haven't really got any defenses against.
Exactly. And that's the other thing, these knacks also have to go for creating, NPCs as well, right? So you want to use all of these same things as a game master, as a builder, to build your NPC characters and your villains, and your the people that you're
The whole time
fighting.
that we were going through the poison and toxin knacks, the only thing that kept playing in my head was a Ninja Scroll, the dude with the bees in his back.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
like the whole time, I'm like, man, if he had these knacks right here and those bees got to take his diseases and shit, that would be gross.
It would be so vicious. But yeah, no. It's designed so that you can come up with any type of character you want. It's expandable, so we can add more stuff to it, right? Like, this is,
Oh, I'm sure there's a way to add virtually anything
yeah, pretty much.
for sure.
I think we started off with like a basic 10 for each, knack or whatever, or skill, so that it was, we had some place to start. And
Right.
But, we could add whatever we want to this list, really.
Yeah, once we get everything situated and it's all wrote out, it's easy.
It's easy. But
It's modular.
it is super modular. It's supposed to be modular. It's supposed to be super flexible for you. You can take what you want and leave what you don't want, as both the player and the DM, right? So, but we're at the end of the show.
Hercules, we made it.
We made it. No technical we were late, but no technical difficulties.
Yeah, no.
No, it was a great show. I always love hanging out with you. This has been my partner and host,
For
Dragon
sure.
Scale In, and I'm his partner and host of Mr. Solutions, and this was the Wayfarers guy.
Absolutely. And if you guys have not already followed Mr. Solutions over on Twitch and YouTube, you should do that.
You should.
He has a lot of different shows going on. He's got an entire catalog of different kinds of shows. So if you're not interested in this show, there is definitely one on the slate, on the docket, that you will be interested in, and you should definitely go check them out.
Yeah, we got Comic Cinema Class on Saturdays. We got This Is Called the Show later tonight. We do Talks on Sundays, which I totally skipped the last 3 weeks because I just been waiting for more content to be built up on Tower of God. But Tower of God was so good last night. Wow.
You got future content incoming. Here we go.
Man, Tower of God was so good last night. Wow. Look, go read Tower of God on Webtoons. It's free. Everyone go read it. It is.
That's that only if you go watch Alita.
I told you I'll watch it.
All right.
You said, look,
it's a bet, guys. Go.
I'll watch
go
it.
Read Tower of God.
Yeah, no, everyone go read Tower of God. Look, it is the most, okay, I read comics from all over the world. From America, from Japan, from China, from Korea, from England. I read comics from all over the place. So when I say that Tower of God is the best comic book in the fucking world, I mean it.
Nice.
Yeah, no.
Well, guys, it has been a mad pleasure. I am super glad that you guys all came and joined us this morning. I'm glad that we got back to our regular scheduled program, even if it was a tad bit late. I'm glad we're back on track and doing the thing, and we will see you guys next week here on Monday morning
at the right
on the
time.
Wayfarers Guide.
At 8 o'clock, my time.
At the right time.
His time.
10 Eastern, 8 Central.
We're gonna be there.
Wait, are you in Central?
I'm mountain, bruh.
Mountain time. So 10
Nah.
Eastern, 8 Mountain. We will be
9
here on the
Central,
Wayfarers Guide.
7 Pacific.
9 Central, 7 Pacific, and it'd be like 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, like 3 p.m. in England. It'd be 3 p.m. in England on
If you're
Monday.
watching from bloody merry old England.
That's right. You guys, don't forget, down below in the description on my channel, at least, you can check out our merch links to the Soul Monkey publication. You can also check out the Discord links to the Spawn Die Entertainment. You guys can look into all of the stuff that we've got going on. I think Mr. Soul-Lutions here has links to his webpage also that is up and running and doing everything Soul Monkey Publications, so don't miss that.
Yep.
And you can get all of that stuff from Soul Monkey Publications on Twitter. You can also get it from Mr. Solutions on Twitter, and follow all the pages to keep up with the massive mountain of content that he puts out on a weekly basis.
That's right. Stick with your boy. I be doing cool stuff. At least I think it's cool anyway. Stick with Dragon Scale in too. He be doing cool stuff too. So check him out during the week. He be streaming all week, doing different game shows and stuff. Follow his Twitter. His Twitter's pretty interesting. He's
I do all kinds of stuff on Twitter. You can get
yeah.
those panels right below.
He does all kind of stuff on Twitter. So check us out. Follow us on the social medias. Do the thing. You know what it is. The internet. You know how you're supposed to behave. Just do it. This has been the Wayfarers Guide, Mr. Solutions, Dragon Scale in. We're fucking out of here.